What makes one outfit better than another? Well, in today's video, we're going to do a deep dive into outfits that have similar vibes, might have the exact same piece, or similar textures and patterns, and kind of dissect what is the difference between all of them. Now, I'd like to say the outfits that I picked out I think are pretty good already, but I think in each category there is going to be a standout outfit. And the fun part here is you may not even agree with what I think is the best outfit in the bunch. But that's not really the point of this video. The goal here is to decipher what little things make an outfit better, what little changes in these outfits makes it distinctly unique, and how we can take from those and create our own looks. With that said, let's get into the video. Up first, we have snakeskin pants. Surprisingly, I found a lot of photos with them, so we'll get into that. So I already set up these outfits to be colors versus neutrals because very clearly you can see that some people like to go down the neutral route when it comes to snake print, while others like to go the more colorful route. Looking at neutrals first, the first thing I notice is you can get immediately weirder with your accessories and textures. Suddenly a coat has fur trim on it, you're taking your normal everyday purse and suddenly adding an animal print on it, so now you have two competing ones. And rather than a simple top with a ballet flat, we're going for a tunic with a tabby. Whereas when we look at the colorful outfits, there's something so great about color and patterns is that it's something you can actually put less effort into than a neutral look because one item can really speak for itself. This blue pattern sweater seems really crazy and funky and out there, but this outfit's actually probably the most simple of the bunch. It's really just a sweater with a pair of loafers and the snakeskin pants. But don't get it twisted. Learning how to style like this with a bunch of different patterns and designs takes a long time to do. And so despite how technically it's only three pieces, having the mind to do that, it's a lot of work to get there. And I also love how despite all of these being colorful looks, each play into a different atmosphere here. It feels brighter and more summery in one, and while these two feel more fall, but the oversized sweater feels like a much cozier day. Now, as someone who owns a plaid miniskirt, I love looking at plaid miniskirt inspo, and I think there's so many great examples out there in so many different styles. Now, the photos for me here have kind of fallen into two different categories. We have styled with tights and then styled with socks and boots, and I'll get into why that category exists with each other. Looking at the tights first, you can easily see who is the odd one out here with a more preppy style. And while I know this look won't be for everyone, very clear this person has their own sense of style with that preppiness. It's a very cohesive look. Each little detail here was really planned out well. And I can't help but tie these two looks together since they feel so familiar. I appreciate the black top look more because of its ability to mix different textures through metals and the accessories. And despite the fact that we're doing this classic black matching top, black shoes, it doesn't feel that obvious. Whereas when we look at this matchy-matchy fit, which isn't a bad thing at all, but we see the collar perfectly matching the skirt, and the tights perfectly match the bag, and the shoes perfectly match the sunglasses. These are the key differences that make these two outfits actually very different from one another, despite the fact at a first glance they feel so similar. Now, a funky sock or a boot is an amazing way to style a plaid midi skirt. Now, looking at these two, yes, they fall into midi skirt, but definitely on the shorter side. And despite being a sock versus a boot, I love the intentional choice of leaving little to no skin. If you do a side-by-side comparison of knee-high socks versus ankle socks, these two are probably the most similarly made looks, but the only difference is the choice in sock, and that completely changes how each one is presented. Up next are dresses over tops. Now, I first want to talk about this black dress over the white top because these are almost identical looks, but very, very different. What you really have here is simplicity versus character. Now, we have the simple look first, which is clean and classic, to the other look where it's a lot more character and accessories going on. I can't even process how she was able to make a bandana, a collar peeking out, and necklaces all look good together, but somehow it's done perfectly. And even with these tights and a green sock that isn't even a matching green to the bandana, it's so cool. But I don't actually think this is an easy look to emulate. I want ways to get inspired by them, which is why I actually kind of think this third photo is the best of both worlds. We still have that kind of simple, basic outline of an outfit, but then you see the little details, the tights underneath. We also have a bandana around the neck, which is the only element up there. And having that feels a lot more approachable in a way, which is why I think actually a lot of people would like this outfit the best. Up next, we have Adidas shorts. And I'm going to say something crazy here. These outfits all look the exact same to me. And I say this as someone who actually does own Adidas pants. I think the funny thing about the Adidas shorts, yes, they are very trendy, but they're also very comfortable. So I don't know. I think when people complain about trends and saying they suck or whatever, a lot of people don't like the Adidas short trend. I don't really know as to why because it's just a comfortable gym short at the end of the day. But going back to kind of Adidas shorts itself, I think you're actually kind of limited in how much you can play around with an Adidas short, which is why when I see them all, I don't think they look that much different. Because at the end of the day, you can really only style Adidas shorts with kind of another shirt or a sweater on top of it. The Adidas shorts are really the statement piece here in a way, despite the fact that they're supposed to be just a gym short. And because of that, you're not really going to get an outstanding outfit, if that makes sense. It's just gonna be a classic outfit. You're just throwing on clothing. If you have a pair of Adidas shorts, you don't have to think too hard with them. Just put on a pair. Maybe they're not gonna be like the fashion forward outfit that you want, but also you don't always need an outfit to be. Up next, we have red tights. And with red tights, there's really only kind of two avenues you can go down, similar to snake print pants. It's really either kind of going into neutrals or monochrome, or you go into a lot of colors and get even more playful with it. Let's talk about kind of keeping it tame first. When it comes to letting the tights do the talking, as I said, you can really go monochrome or you can go kind of neutrals. And talking about monochrome first, I think a classic look with red tights has always been styling it with all black. And I know a lot of people like that to say the pop of red, which is good. I love this navy blue with red tights. It's not much different. Navy blue and black are so not far apart from one another, but somehow choosing to do navy blue instead of black makes this look feel a little less aggressive in a way, as in it's not as polished. It feels cozy. It feels like something you can kind of go out in. Whereas when you wear black with red tights, it tends to feel a little bit more formal. And so like that, for example, it's one little thing we changed here, but that is having such an impact on the overall outfit. Now, when we look at the neutrals outfits, I love that they managed to make the looks feel very cohesive. I think a classic to do with tights is kind of a peekaboo moment with the tights themselves. And I think this is a very clear example of that. Whereas when you used it in a monochrome look, the red tight is the statement piece. When you move into more neutrals, it's still statement, but a little bit less like a parts of a whole rather than when you do it monochrome, it's the whole look. And that leads into our final red tights version, which is colorfulness with the red tights. When you look at it from a colorful perspective, these tights really just play into an already fun and flirty look, which works so well because red tights are such a statement piece in itself. I find it really impressive when a statement piece can be placed into an outfit and lose itself as statement status. So we kind of saw the progression of that, where it starts off as statement piece because you're in monochrome, you move to neutrals and it becomes more of a peekaboo element, and then you end in colorful, and suddenly it just fits with the look. It's intentional. It moves with all the different colors you have going on. It's no longer statement. It was just another color the person wanted to add into their look. I wanted to add an all black fit category because I think a singular color can really go a long way, especially when you have so many different designs and textures and fabrics and shapes that can be done. I wanted to show that the black outfit is a tried and true. But even with these looks of just black tops and black bottoms, they look fun and unique. And I think if someone just wears a black top with black pants, it's always a good outfit. And I myself and other people have always said monochrome, but I think sometimes people try to make the argument of, oh, monochrome of a color, which is also great, but just a monochrome black outfit is so great. This is the kind of culottes category because they look like culottes, but some people may also say capris, but basically any short above the ankle is what this category is. So I think what's really cool about these culottes though is people tend to go in two ways, right? Which is just showing off the ankle, the pant do all the talking, or alternatively, with all that open area, they kind of play into that and use that extra space with either boots or socks of some sort or tights. So let's get into that. We have here these two ankle boot outfits. We have the classic, which is a neutrals and a knee-high boot, and I love it. Each detail in the outfit feels like it elevates it to a different level. Pleating on the white top, the buttons on the hips, and the fold in the base of the pant, just all so freaking good. But here is where we focus less on fabric details and more on eclectic shapes and colors. We have this look where it's not so much focused on the actual fabric structure and details. It's a lot more casual look just thrown on together, but adding this fun colors on top and bottom and these green boots, it really sets it apart as a statement outfit. And I think it's more of a polarizing outfit. Not as many people are going to like it because it's kind of stark and out there. Whereas sometimes when you have something with like a really focus on the detail of fabric and how the pleats look and how it's developed, that might be more attention grabbing despite the fact that it's a simpler look. I think my favorite though would have to be a combination of those two looks, which it's this one. It's this classic clean look on the top, nothing too fancy or nothing too crazy, and then boom, Look at those socks. So funky and out there. The stripes are crazy, and yet it's fun. It all feels intentional, and I kind of tend to lean to outfits like that where you're keeping it really tame and calm, and then you have a little statement piece in there. And I realize I'm kind of wearing that right now because I basically just have on a little skirt with this tank top, and then of course this huge flower that's just been staring you guys down. But I thought it was so fun, I wanted to add it for today's video. This next section of the video, I thought it'd be fun if we kind of did a little game where we did a which outfit is better than the other, but also dissecting what makes these outfits so different than each other. Because as we know, Pinterest is a place where people post their photos, and a lot of people end up having actually the same outfits and same exact pieces, especially when they're a trendy item. It'd be fun to compare what makes me like one outfit better than another and what makes you like an outfit better than another. Now, with that said, let's get into the first look because these are not the exact same pieces, but somehow in completion, the same exact outfit. I will try my hardest not to reveal my bias as we dissect these outfits, but then at the end, I'll tell you which one I liked better. Isn't this crazy? I told you, they're like the same exact outfit, same exact thing, different font. That's literally what this is. The laptop is on my lap just so I can visualize both of them too. So if you see me looking down, that's why. Let's unpack this one first. So what we have here is really playing into neutrals, right? We have all gray and then a black purse and black shoe. I think she was playing into this blue tie as her statement piece, her little peekaboo element, which I like because it's trying to play into something more fun. Have our second look here. She was clearly trying to play into a bunch of different elements and fabrics and textures, especially with the colors, right? We don't just have gray and black here. We actually have gray, white, red, and this baby blue. And because of that, it feels like there's a lot of different things going on. Now, I do like this one a lot more. I think you could even tell as I was speaking, I was really struggling to find my words on the first photo. I don't think anyone's outfits are bad. There's just an outfit that I like better. And I think some of you may actually like this neutrals look a lot better, right? Because it's not too in your face. Also, I really actually like the over the top bow versus the smaller bow, especially with an oversized jacket that both of them are wearing. The over the top bow works very well with it. Next, we're going to do a polka dot skirt. Are we surprised to see that? Well, of these three photos, two of them are very similar. You can clearly see that they went with just a white t-shirt and a little leather or suede jacket on top, which I think is a good fit. I think it looks really good together. And then you have our third photo, which is a little bit more unique. The monochrome-esque nature of it, where trying to match with the sweater on top. You can never go wrong with that. Like I said, I do enjoy monochrome. And then I love the peekaboo element of the baby blue. I really love a baby blue and red together. That color combination always looks so good. It's annoying though, because then sometimes you feel like you're just giving American flag. Say like, oh, you look like the 4th of July, like make jokes, you know? So I think it has to be done really well. And I think in this case it is because the tights and the red bag aren't right next to each other. This may come as a shock. My favorite look, banana yellow blazer with the skirt. I don't know. I just like it. I like the seamless integration of it. Up next, we have a Damson Matter skirt. And this is an example of one of those trendy items that I was talking about that definitely you could find a lot of people wearing on Pinterest. I love this skirt. Now, let's look at these three looks all side by side. In this case, each one is dramatically different than the other one, which I love when that happens because it's really a good remind yourself that like outfits can be styled in so many different ways. And even here, you can see how one is styled more for summer, one's kind of more for fall, and one's more gearing up for a colder fall day. I love to use denim with a skirt that is a statement piece skirt. Just takes out a lot of the thinking about what colors and patterns to match with if you just aren't in the mood to deal with that. I don't know. I would say all three of these looks are great. I don't think I could actually choose one because I love burgundy and I love how this feels so slouchy and comfortable. Like it looks lived in, and I love when an outfit feels like that. Yeah, I'm allowed to be indecisive in this video if I want to be. I'm not going to have an answer for everything. Up next is this little dress, and I had to show the side by side of it because they're basically wearing the same outfit, which I think is very cool. But the only difference is the color in the denim, and that makes such a dramatic difference between their two outfits. Yes, you look at the top half and it's the white top underneath, but when you pan down, you see a difference in the denim that they're wearing. And I love that just one kind of feels more daytime and one feels more nighttime. I think I would gravitate more towards the dark denim look. Both are pretty great in my eyes, but that little key difference in the denim is going to have a major impact on your look, which is why when you're styling stuff, and if you feel like, oh, this skirt doesn't look that good with this top, and you scrap the outfit, don't scrap the outfit. Change the one thing that's causing you a problem, and it might just be you need a little bit longer of a skirt on, and that could be like the difference, the game changer in the entire outfit. I love both these looks. A little chunky nip zip up with striped pants. The only difference is that I love the color olive green, so obviously I would like that one more. And not even, oh my god, they're both so good actually. I don't think I'd be able to decide. But I just want to show you that sometimes before you buy a piece, this is not to convince you to just buy any random piece now, but if you see something you like but aren't sure if it's a piece meant for you, really think about the styling of it, because when I see this photo, I am in awe. I want this swan sweater so badly. But then here is it in its original form when it was being sold on the website. These two things are not the same to me. I don't know. I think it's good to think things through before you're buying it, thinking how you would style it, trying it on, getting a feel for it, because it might end up being your favorite thing. I really want to knit that for myself. Maybe I will. On the topic of sweaters, yet again, actually also still to do with olive green, I saw this photo of these two friends and they were wearing their matching sweaters. I absolutely adore both looks. I feel like they really played into who they both are. I think it's really cool how with this sweater they were able to play really into their own styles and showcase drastically different looks. And yes, granted, they're two different color sweaters, but also I think even if they had matching sweaters of the exact same color, I think you would still see very different styles coming from them. Just a reminder that colors and buying into different colors, can also influence how you want to style something. I feel like if I get something that's baby pink, I tend to go a little bit more girlier, whereas if I get more of an olive green, I would go a little bit more edgy and masculine with it. This polka dot dress, I feel like everyone and their mother knows about it. It's from Realization Par, and I just want to show it. Dresses are something that can be bought and styled drastically different. If you watched my YouTube video on how to have a never-ending wardrobe, I do talk about how statement pieces and dresses, you can keep on styling them just with little different details and accessories, and those things will make the outfits feel so different from one another. And I think that's just another case with this dress where it's a very much a statement dress, but each of these way that they're styled a little bit different than the next, but has a major impact overall. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it. I actually have so many other examples, so if you want another or part two, let me know and I'd be happy to make one more fall edition. Did you have differing opinions from me on what I liked best? I could totally imagine that. I have a very specific fashion taste. So with that said, subscribe if you're feeling crazy, and I hope you have a lovely day.